more yeses. Okay. So you guys know my perspective on Bitcoin is that there's too much fanboy hype around it. And I'm starting to really see that fanboy hype can drive price action a lot. We can have retail traders influencing price in any asset. Bitcoin is no exception to that. So there's two articles I want to share with you guys. First, one of them is from bitcoin.com. This one says billionaire fund manager Jeffrey Gundlach convinced that Bitcoin will fall below 23,000 and that the US dollar is doomed. Now, this is an important article to me because I agree with only half of his statement, and that's why I wanted to discourse and dialogue with you guys about it. Because I'm not in the boat that the dollar is doomed. I'm not. I don't think the dollar is going to zero. I am in the boat that Bitcoin could fall to 23,000 or lower. Where he comes up exactly with that number, let's find out. So it says here that his quote, what CEO, he's the CEO of Double Line Capital. He's also known as the Bond King. He's predicted that it's going to fall below 23,000. He said right now, the chart on Bitcoin looks pretty scary. Here's the chart on Bitcoin. Very scary, very bearish, right? That's his point. Scary is bearish to him. He goes on to say here that, where is his quote here? I'm not a big believer in head and shoulders tops, but this one looks pretty convincing. Turning neutral at 23,000 was obviously too early, but I've got a feeling you're going to be able to buy it again below 23,000. Gundlach also commented on other investments. Interestingly, gold is actually negative this year. Commodities are very strong. Commodities are up more than stocks this year as a basket, but gold can't seem to get out of its own way. And obviously, the dollar being firmer lately is not a positive for gold either. Moreover, the billionaire fund manager said that the dollar has been moderately firmer in the last several weeks, and he thinks that will continue. In the near term, the dollar seems firm. In the long term, the dollar is doomed. The Bond King believes that the significant drop in the dollar is coming in the intermediate term, citing the size of the U.S. deficit. Gundlach said in November of last year that Bitcoin and gold were good hedges against inflation. Furthermore, he predicted that within 18 months, the stock market was going to crack pretty hard. When the next big meltdown happens, I think the U.S. is going to be the worst performing market, actually, and that'll have a lot to do with the dollar weakening. Now, I don't fully disagree with him, but I think he also takes it to the extent of the dollar going to zero, and I'm not in that boat. I think the dollar will still be around. But I think the idea that we are headed for a big correction across multiple asset classes is something that a lot of big investors are agreeing with. Now, this news of his opinion comes also on the day where we get some news on CNBC here that this viral video is showing Malaysian police destroying 1,000 different Bitcoin mining rigs with a steamroller. So I want to play the video for you just because that sounds fun, and then we'll read the article. No sound. We'll blow this up full screen. Check this out. It's literally a steamroller rolling over computers. Look at that. You get the point, right? You see all the computers on the ground. You get what this thing is trying to do, right? Look at it, squashing them. Okay? So, again, feeding more of a bearish bias on Bitcoin, we have the Malaysian police cracking down. It says here, Assistant Commissioner of the Police told CNBC the crypto crackdown came after miners allegedly stole $2 million worth of electricity siphoned from Sarawak energy power lines. So they're stealing electricity to run the mines, the Bitcoin miners, and the police just aren't having that. The authorities are not having that. Acting on a tip, authorities on the island of Borneo confiscated the rigs in 6 separate raids between February and April. In total, the police destroyed about $1.26 million worth of mining equipment. Police opted to crush the mining gear rather than sell it in accordance with a court order. Other countries like China have taken a different route, reportedly auctioning off the seized rigs. Someone from Borneo said that electricity theft by Bitcoin miners led to 3 houses burning down in the city. The Miri police chief told CNBC that there are no other active mining operations underway currently. It says here, crypto mining is the energy-intensive process in which new Bitcoin is created. It goes on to explain, while mining for cryptocurrencies is not illegal, there are stringent laws around power use. So it says here, those who threaten to tamper with power lines face up to a $23,700 fine and 5 years in prison. So let me explain why I'm bringing this up. So we see another hedge fund guy getting in the boat that Bitcoin might come lower. We see another crackdown in Asia, specifically on Bitcoin mining and its electrical use. Remember last week I reported to you guys that one province in China is shutting down all of the Bitcoin mines in the entire province over the next 3 years because of its electrical use. Now, that to me is actually kind of interesting because China has 23 of the top 25 cities in the world that pollute the earth the most. So why do they care so much about Bitcoin mining? To me, it's not so much about the electrical impact. That is a factor, and that's something that they put on the front to say, but I think it's more important to look at the digital yuan and that Bitcoin threatens China, threatens sovereignty in China by its individual humans. And they want people to not have that sovereignty because they're communists. They want people to use the digital yuan. So I think there's a big piece of China and these other Asian countries that are aligned with China to crack down on Bitcoin mining to get people off Bitcoin and using the digital yuan. Now I want to transition into another article here. This is from Bloomberg. China's digital yuan trial reaches $5.3 billion in transactions. Nearly 21 million individuals already have virtual wallets, but the central bank in China won't set a timetable for the official rollout. So this kind of backs up my point even more. They're being secretive, they're being sneaky, slowly rolling out this digital yuan, which if you look at what Kyle Bass says that we should ban China's digital currency because it's basically a Trojan horse for China to use to become a global economic superpower. So I personally think that the Bitcoin crackdown has to do with the digital yuan very, very closely. Now, I don't want to get too deep into the digital yuan. I want to still stay on Bitcoin. Currently, Bitcoin is now down 3% today. I tweeted this morning that I think a week from today is July 19th, a week from today, you're probably going to see Bitcoin under 30,000, probably closer to 20,000 than it is to 30,000 was my exact tweet, because I really do believe, based on just the technicals, forget everything I even just told you about the fundamentals, I think Bitcoin's going to slide this week. Look at it holding the 8 EMA. Look at how long the RSI has been under the market sentiment line since the 13th, since last week. It's been beautiful off the 21 EMA. And today it's now finally holding under that 31.5, 31.4 level of support. If it can get down into this blue zone, this is the support from January 20th, 2021. If it can get down into this zone, 29,000, 28,000, it's going to slide. And where does it slide to? This has been my ideal target range of about 23,000, where the 800 EMA is. That's where I think you're going to move to. So now we're tying more fundamental analysis, more hedge fund guys, all tying into what we're seeing on the price action chart. And if you know ASFX, you can look at Bitcoin. And if you look at the TDI, you've had a D2 setup with this bearish divergence on top and multiple breaks of the 50 EMA. It bodied the 200. Once it bodies the 200, if we're trading this as a Forex pair, you think this is coming down towards the 800 EMA next. So I think 23,000 is almost a no-brainer. It's almost a given. And that's my full thoughts on Bitcoin. You can see why I'm tying the fundamentals into this, why I'm tying the digital yuan into this, why I'm tying it what the hedge fund guys say. It all kind of feeds this bearish bias that disagrees with all the Bitcoin fanboys. So tell me what you guys think. Is Bitcoin going to 22,000 or is Bitcoin going to hold 30,000? Tell me in the chat. Tell me in the comments.